The following program was recorded earlier in the day for presentation at this time.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
just fine. Let's
Let's have
have
a late night conversation. How's my hair?
It looks great.
What clothes should I wear?
What you got on is fine.
Let's have a late night conversation.
And now from her home in Kansas City, Kansas, here's one of the hosts of A Late Night Conversation, Taryn Ray Smith.
Thank you, Jeff Jeffries. Hello and welcome to this morning's Late Night Conversation. My name is Taryn Ray Smith, and joining us from his studios in Sharpsville, Indiana, my co-host, Jacob Pyle.
Hey, Taryn. Hey, everybody.
Now, before we get started, I have no clue as to what we will be talking about on each week's Late Night Conversation. All of the topics and ideas discussed on the show have not been shared with me prior to taping. Now, first things first, you might have noticed that we did not have a Late Night Conversation for you last week. And Jacob, can you tell us why?
Well, for those of you who keep up with me on the show, you know I work another job. And last weekend was a really busy weekend for me. I had to not only come in on a Saturday, which is rare, but not only that, due to personal reasons, I requested if I could go in and work midnights this particular Saturday. And midnights, as I've said before, and you know, Zach Brown's. I don't know about you. I know Zach Brown's worked midnights before H.H. Gregg, but Zach Brown. But midnights is a whole different ball game when you're doing this. Do you remember when you and I first met, Taryn, how we had so much trouble trying to coordinate our schedules to accommodate me working 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.?
Yeah, we did. We had to find different times, like later in the evening and stuff like that. And, fortunately, I make my own schedule, so I'm pretty flexible, but, I'm always busy too, but we got it figured out.
Yeah. Do you like it, in your honest opinion, do you like taping the show with me working afternoons or with me working midnights?
I like the schedule we have going now because
Okay.
it's just, especially since like we meet on Fridays, it's like a nice little way to end my week. And Fridays are a really busy day for me, but I also try to get off work earlier on Fridays, so I have a longer weekend. So I like us taping around. We usually film this, everybody who's watching, around. It's like noon. It's in between noon for both of us. For me, it's 11:30. For Jacob, it's 12:30. So it's like around that time works for me. Well, what about you? What do you like?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the reason we stopped mentioning that was because now we have, for those who watch the show, we now have a disclaimer that Jeff Jeffries reads at the beginning of the show, pretty much saying the same thing we're doing, just so that way the audience, that way you folks at home don't think it is 1 o'clock in the morning. What are these two people doing still up at this time of night? What was your question again? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just asking you, what do you prefer? Like now that you've worked both of those shifts, what's your favorite preference for time to work during the day or night?
I don't know. I would say seconds, honestly, because now it's like, since the switch, the primary reason I switched was because of the struggles that I have to deal with autism. So, and I just feel more comfortable, like, cause I live in an apartment by myself, and I just most of the chores I can pretty much get done. I can get done during those late night hours. So like 11, 12. I don't. The earliest I go to bed nowadays, the earliest I go to bed is around 2. Because keep in mind, I don't get off work till 11 o'clock. So at night. So I go to bed the earliest I go to bed is around 2. If I don't have anything going on, I'm usually up till about 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I sleep till about maybe a couple hours before I have to be at work. So, but I can use those hours nice. I exercising. I sometimes use it to exercise. I sometimes use it like if I have to take the trash out, and other things and pretty much everything else that can be done in those hours, with the exception of vacuuming. You can't. That's a no-no when you're doing it. That's a no-no at night. But I can do, take trash out, check mail. We have there's like a 24-hour CVS or 24-hour gas station near me if I have to, if there's stuff last minute that I have to get. So honestly, it just works for me. Midnight's the only time I can actually get that stuff done was on the weekends, because for obvious reasons, but because I'm at work at night while most people are asleep.
Yeah, I've worked a variety of shifts, and like I am a night owl by nature, but I have one client that I work with where I have to be up early on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays normally. And honestly, I'm glad that I have that responsibility, because if I didn't, I end up staying up later and sleeping in later, which is fine, but I do like have a lot of stuff that I like to get done in my evening, and I like to like get to the gym, and if I do have time to practice music and stuff. And I I'm never gonna be a morning person, I don't think. But my dad's been telling me, he's like, it's coming. The older you get, the more of a morning person you become automatically. Setting someone's work schedule aside, like if I make because I make my own schedule. But there were a couple days this past week. I mean, I've just been really busy and catching up with a lot, but I had 2 days in the past week where I woke up naturally by or before 7 a.m. That is not something I ever do. So I thought but I think I just was so busy that my brain was like, just get up and get it done. But my dad was like, that's a sign you're getting older. And I'm like, I don't know if it is.
Mm-hmm. And in all honesty, I have friends of mine that I work with that have insomnia, and they can't sleep. So I don't see and what I deal with is not really insomnia related, but I think it's more just because of the fact that I've been used to working midnights for so long, to the point now where my body naturally can stay up till, say, 4 o'clock. I don't think I can ever stay up till 7 a.m. again, but my body can at least stay up till like 3 or 4 in the morning and be like, and and wake up at a decent time, to where it's like, because my body's used to it. I'm nocturnal, and I don't think
Yeah,
that's ever going to change.
oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, like, yeah, that's why I was like, aside from someone's work schedule, because I know that like people, like, your work schedule can have a huge impact on like your circadian rhythm. And my father, he worked, for a sales company for like almost 40 years. And so he like he practiced getting up that early for that many years. So I think that has just as much, if not more, to do with it than like anything else. Like you said, you have a tendency to be a night owl. We both do. But because of like the shifts that you work, it even more so like reinforces that. Very cool.
And you have to understand. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You go ahead. You go.
So you have to understand too, when you're getting off work at 11 at night, people think, oh yeah, working, yeah. It's like, it's easy. I can go to bed as soon as I get off work. Try working second shift for a while. I promise you, you're gonna be so wound up from the day. It's like you can't go to sleep right away. I guarantee you that. In fact, my very first second shift job I had, I worked. It was kind of weird. So I had to be in at work at 20 after 3, and I didn't get off work till like 10 minutes till midnight. And then I would be up till, say, 2, or then I would find myself on the computer doing things till about maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. And then it gets to the point where it's like, okay, I got to go to bed. I got to go to work the next day. So, and that's just been a habit of mine. And then apparently, I guess, and another thing too, do not ever tell anybody. Don't tell your bosses, don't tell anybody what time you go to bed, because that might convince them to say, which happened to me, they might convince them to say, hey, we have an opening on midnights. I hear you're a night owl. Would you be interested in working 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. instead? Sure. And then, like, I didn't realize, I didn't think I was going to be working it for like 12 years off and on. So, yeah, but yeah, it's, working second shift though. It's like you need to find your own. It's like you have to have your own rhythm. You can't just go into second shift thinking, oh, I'm going to go to bed straight away when going home. The earliest most of my coworkers go to bed is usually around 1, maybe 2, but you know.
Yeah, like so true. You want to be very careful about what you tell your employers about your schedule and things like that. Like I remember when I used to work in a certain industry at a certain place, I won't give too much info, but they had it so that no matter what, you had to pick a schedule where you had to work the weekend, every single weekend. So basically it was like you either had to choose to work Sunday through Thursday or you had to choose to work Tuesday through Saturday. And that doesn't, like you said, sometimes when stuff gets presented to you, you think like, oh, that's not bad. Like, that's fine. Then it'll just like make like, oh, every Thursday feels like a Friday. But when you actually have to commit to giving up either your Friday or your Saturday or your Sunday every single week, it makes it really hard to like A, take time off, but B, like have a social life, see your family and all sorts of stuff. For me, I was really frustrated by that. And the other thing that made me mad was just that like some companies will be like, okay, well, we'll let you pick your own schedule, but only if you make us this much money first. It's like, so you're gonna, I don't know. I just think that that's messed up. Like people should be given flexibility. If they're doing their job, I don't know. It depends. Like you pick up weekends sometimes, but they don't make you do it every single week, do they?
In fact, the majority of the day we don't even work Saturdays. It's just straight out Saturdays, Sundays.
Yeah.
But what was crazy though when I worked midnights, when people say to me, "What's your day preference?" I would say, like you said, Sunday through Thursday is my personal preference because that gives me all day Friday, all day Saturday. Now, when I work midnights where I work at now, we didn't have our weekend started at 7 a.m. Saturday morning, and then we didn't have to go back in till 11 o'clock Monday night. So it was like and you think, well, that's easy. Well, and I've said too, it's like you only get 2 days off, and pretty much it's like and this was why I also switched to seconds was because it's like you said, it's working midnights is a commitment, not just 5 days a week, but pretty much every single day for every of the year, because you can't flip back. Like once you're committed to a 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and you only get 2 days off, you cannot. It's hard to flip back and forth like that. You just can't do it.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. Like, yeah, changing your schedule all the time can really be a lot for your health and your stress and all sorts of stuff. And like, I don't know, I just find like the way that everybody works on certain shifts to be very interesting. I don't know. Like who decided? I don't know. I have there's two schools of thought for it, right? Because like I like getting up and having my day done early. But I also like being able to stay up and being able to sleep in. So I think it's good when there's some variety and you don't get stuck in one thing over and over again. Like you and I are both special needs in different ways. We both have a form of neurodivergence. You know, ADHD is a form of neurodivergence, autism is a form of neurodivergence. And now they're actually studying that CPTSD is a form of kind of like acquired neurodivergence. So when you're neurodivergent, whatever kind of neurodivergence you have, we have like special things about us that make us function optimally and special things about us that make us not function optimally. And for me, a big thing that really affected me with my ADHD and my PTSD when I was working for someone else was like they would make, and this is commonplace, but for me, it like messed with my mental health. Having to take an hour-long break halfway through my workday like drove me insane. And I actually ended up getting like some special accommodations so that I could just take a short break instead. So I could just keep working. What I really wanted though was the accommodation of being able to do one or the other, depending on how I felt that day. And yeah, are there any kinds of like special accommodations that you seek or look for from your employer that they've helped you with, or accommodations that you like wish you had?
Being able to wear my earphones, especially when I'm working at a place where like a grocery store or things like that where customers gather. But I remember once, there was a job I was forced to eat. I remember once, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this too. I was working overnights. The primary reason I chose to work overnights was because, less, especially when you're working at like a Meijer or any grocery store that has overnight stocking, is because that's pretty much you don't get a chance really to see customers much. Now, when I worked at Walmart, I worked 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So we would only see customers like during only 2 hours for our whole shift. That's it. And they were very kind enough and willing enough to let me have my earbuds in during those 2 hours. Mine, on the other hand, not so much. And when I asked my boss about that, because because it was, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was 2 hours, but it was 10 p.m. to midnight. And then the rest of the shift, we didn't have customers. And when I asked my boss and my boss was very strict. He was like, we don't want you wearing your headphones at all. And which is understandable for most people, but so I had to sit down with him one day and I said, well, why do you not want me to wear earbuds? And he said, well, I don't want day shift coming in the morning and being like, oh dang, he's got headphones on. What about us?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, so the thing we came up with was, I was like, okay, well then if that's the case, then I want to be switched to part-time. The hours, I want to work strictly the hours that there are no customers in the store, midnight to 6. And apparently, and then as days go by, they started cutting my hours furthermore, and I was like, this is not working out. But I mean, it was fun. It was great, but it was just one of those unfortunate things. And
Yeah.
now the place, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And now the place I work at now, I don't even have to worry about having my earbuds in, because really it's like you're not really dealing with there's not much interaction going on with the public where I work now. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's great. I can totally relate to like I just think, yeah, there's a whole lot to unpack there. Like, if people like I talk a lot about FMLA on my social media, and for those of you watching who might not know, it's called like family and medical leave of absence, and a lot of people don't know that it exists. You do have to be full-time to be able to get it, and your employer does have to offer it in order to be able to get it, but it basically gives you a little bit more wiggle room with like getting accommodations as someone with a disability. But yeah, like I firmly believe that it should be a requirement of all maybe not of all companies, but I don't know. It's a complicated topic when you talk about accessibility, but if someone can do their job and they can do a better job because they need an accommodation to help with their health, I just think like corporations should prioritize the health of their employees a lot more than they do.
Right. And
But we get by.
We get by, and
We adapt.
life moves on, as they say. So
Yeah, you just make the best of it and do your best. I wanted to ask you, I know we talk a lot about like shows and movies and all sorts of stuff. Do you like scary movies at all?
really watch scary movies a whole
I
lot.
figured you might not. There's like what I figured about your personality and who you are. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm obsessed with scary movies. My sister cannot watch anything that's remotely scary, and I fully understand why both types of people exist.
Mm-hmm. I do watch. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say this is scary per se, but the closest thing I've ever watched that may like would be like the Twilight Zone.
Oh, Twilight Zone is great. I loved the old school Twilight Zone movie. Did you ever see that one where the
I've seen
kid
bits and
makes his
pieces.
sister like he like sews her mouth up and like not sews it up, but he just like magically makes her mouth disappear, and he makes his whole family eat hamburgers with peanut butter on them.
I've seen bits and pieces of the movie. There's nothing, but I've seen bits and pieces. I need to go back and watch the movie in its entirety. But
Me too.
Yeah, but it's funny because I think Steven Spielberg, I think, was the one that came up the one that came up with the movie, and I thought that was really clever.
I
I
didn't
could
know
be
that.
wrong. I'm not sure.
I would believe it. I mean, because it was like kind of in the 90s, I think, or like late 80s, early 90s when they made the movie version. And as a kid, I used to just terrorize myself with it. Like they have that one skit where everybody's flying on a plane and then there's like this creepy little monster on the wing of the plane. And I remember as a little kid, I thought that was so terrifying. But I've always just, like I said, even when I was like 3 or 4 years old, I'm like, I want to watch a scary movie. Like I love scaring myself half to death with movies.
Yeah, that's really cool. But yeah, the original, I would say the original Twilight Zone, the original
Yeah.
half hour black and white Twilight
Mhm.
Zone. Watch it if you have not seen it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's but some of the stuff may be out of date because keep in mind this was what late 50s, early 60s when the
Oh,
show
yeah.
came out. But but you'll get a kick out of it if you have not seen it. So
Yeah, they redid it recently. I think it was Jordan Peele maybe, or
Jordan Peele.
yeah, I think I was a big, or it might have been Tyler Perry. One of them. I think it was Tyler Perry decided to like remake the Twilight Zone and they made a whole new version of it that's like new and up to date. I saw a couple episodes of it. I couldn't get super into it, but I also didn't give it like, maybe a fair chance.
And what was interesting though, I think they made two versions of it, one color, one black and white, which was crazy because
Mhm.
I'm like, it's like there so back in I gotta tell you this. So back in the 80s, there was this controversy in Hollywood where people were able to colorize old black and white movies. And a lot of people, and I myself am one of them, is like, why can't they just show the movie as it was originally made? You know, I mean, and people think, well, it's easy. It's real easy. All you got, if you don't want to watch it in color, all you gotta do is go to your TV settings and switch it to where it's black and white. Problem solved. And it's like, I don't know. It's still not the same thing. It's not the same. It's really not the same. If you want a really good Hollywood movie, I would say that's filmed in black and white. Just get it in black and white. Same can be said with the Twilight Zone. And times have changed. Like I get it. Why I would see it being filmed in color. But I think it's cool though that they also offered a black and white version for those who prefer to watch it black and white. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's so many different ways that you can watch it and I adore Twilight Zone. Yeah, I like all sorts of different types of stuff. I've been in kind of a rut trying to find something new to watch recently. Although I will say I went and saw the scary movie Obsession, and it was so good. I'm obsessed with the movie Obsession. I'll definitely watch it again. And tonight I'm going to go see Backrooms with someone. So Backrooms is kind of like it was like kind of a scary lore that started on 4chan and started online, and now it's evolved into this like huge, massive lore following. So I think it's pretty cool that like such a young director made the movie. I think the director's like 21 or something, and it's like grossed over $100 million. So I've heard mixed reviews about Backrooms, and I'm hoping the good reviews are the right ones.
Yes, awesome. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Let me see. What time is okay, so we still have about 6 more minutes. So I will you got any big plans for 4th of July?
My friend is having like a family thing and a friend thing, and they're gonna do like I'm bringing pasta salad. Everybody's bringing like a side. I will admit I'm not gonna make the pasta salad myself. Don't tell my friends, but I'm gonna buy the best store-bought one I know of. And we'll be doing like, I don't know, I think there's like a pool volleyball, which I'm excited about because as I mentioned in our previous episodes, I've been dealing with a back injury for a few months and my back is finally better, like a lot better than it was. So I'm going to also go to the gym this weekend, but definitely going to get outside. I don't like my friend's thing starts at like 1 in the afternoon and then they're going to do fireworks way later. And I can't keep up with that. I'm going to do the day things and then I'll just watch some fireworks on TV or something. What about you?
I know tomorrow I'm in Sharpsville right now taping this FYI, and I actually go. For those who don't know, I actually grew up in Sharpsville, and these guys a few years ago decided, well, let's do a very special event celebrating the small town of Sharpsville, and they have vendors, they have like all sorts of things, and then at the end of the night they do this huge fireworks show, and I'm actually going to come up. I got to go back up here tomorrow, and I'm gonna go see the fireworks show for myself. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. And then I think next week, the actual day of 4th of July, probably see some more. I love watching fireworks. It's I can never get enough of them.
Oh, I totally agree. Like, I love fireworks. I would like to go see them. I really would. I just think any places around where I live, it's just such a commitment. Like, there's some places where it's not. Like in Lawrence, they have a really cool fireworks show and it's like easy to get to. But I don't know. I feel like around here where I live, like there's so many people, and trying to find a good spot, you got to like not camp, but basically like tailgate for hours to actually get a good spot. So, and you don't want to be too close, because like I used to go see fireworks at Worlds of Fun back in the day, and they would put them up really high, but they would just let you walk around the park while they were doing them. And one time I was like looking at the fireworks and I was like, oh, cool, it's right above me. And then like one of the little embers got in my eye. So be careful, everyone. Be careful. Don't go too close. Get there early so you can get a good seat. And don't mess around with bottle rockets. Don't shoot your hand off.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you something. So every year when we go to the fireworks show, nowadays I always have a mask put over my mouth because I'll tell you an experience that happened to me once, and I'm going to try to keep this as PG as possible, but for like 2 years straight, like the day after I would see the fireworks, and you have to keep in mind the fireworks is like real up close and personal. I would come home and I would be sick the next day. Like literally, barfing up sick, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
So I always try to make sure. So in recent years, I usually either watch them in the car or I'll have like a mask or something put over my mouth to kind of prevent myself from accidentally breathe. And I think what it was is I probably did not know this, but I actually was breathing in the sulfur from the fireworks, and that might have caused that to happen. And so now I just I'll either watch them in the car or I'll have like this mask or something like that put over my mouth.
And that is our program for tonight. Before we go, Jacob, do you have any positive words of affirmation you'd like to share with us?
Never give up on yourself.
That's a good one.
What about you?
I read one yesterday that basically said, do what you love and the success will come. Something like that. Keep doing what you love.
Mm-hmm. From my studios in Sharpsville, Indiana, I'm Jacob Pyle.
And from my home in Kansas City, Kansas, I'm Taryn Ray Smith. Two things before we leave. One, because of the 4th of July holiday, we won't have a new episode for our show this next week. Instead, we will be showing a pilot that Jacob and I put together called Conversations. And we hope to see you then for that. And second, if you hear someone snapping their fingers in the middle of a Saturday night, don't worry. We're just snapping our fingers to the beat of another late night conversation. Thank you all for watching this. Stay safe and goodbye, everybody.
Doobie doo ah, doobie doobie doo ah, doobie doobie doo.
If you'd like to join us for one of our late morning, early afternoon tapings of A Late Night Conversation, or if you were ordering a DVD copy of tonight's program, send Jacob an email. His email address is jtpile1@aol.com. Or if you're ordering a DVD copy of tonight's program, send $10 check or money order to A Late Night Conversation, care of Pile Media Ventures, Post Office Box 130, Oakford, Indiana 46965. Please include the air date seen on the screen when ordering. Residents outside of Indiana and Kansas will pay $5 shipping and handling. Sorry, no CODs. The preceding program was recorded earlier in the day for presentation at this time. I'm your very tired announcer, Jeff Jeffries. Good night.
I gotta go.
Why so soon?
It's the end of the show.
Oh, now I know.
This has been a late night conversation. Don't freak.
Why not?
Oh, I'll be back next week
And so will I.
for another late night conversation. Hey, Jacob, when does this song end?
I don't know.
How about right now?
Wah.
Woo! Yay, that was fun. See you next week.